Are you ready?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It is the end of March. Hey, Will, today I saw that the week 0 matchups were announced, and I just kept thinking, man, we're going to be thinking about these week 0 matchups and overanalyzing them for way too long.
What were like some of the highlights? What were some of the highlights? Talk it to me. I'm gonna close my eyes and listen to it.
Let me pull it up. Let me pull up our week 0 games because we have TCU playing in Dublin, Ireland against North Carolina.
Okay, yeah. I like that.
We have Hawaii and Stanford.
Okay, who could forget that rivalry? Yeah.
North Carolina and Virginia playing in Rio de Janeiro.
Oh, yeah, and everything about NC State screams Brazil.
Yeah. New Mexico State and Florida State. I mean, I can only imagine Florida State will find a way.
Ashton Daniels pick 6 in the third quarter that ends up costing the game.
Memphis versus UNLV.
I like that. Dan Mullen. I can't remember who's at Memphis now since Ryan Silverfield left. Okay, I'm feeling it.
San Jose State and USC.
Oh, Spartans versus Trojans.
Yeah, classic old school European rivalry.
We'll call that the Odyssey. European. Oh, yeah, it is European. I almost said that was the Asian. My bad. Keep going. My eyes are closed right now.
Jacksonville State, North Dakota State. North Dakota State's first game as an FBS team.
That game is low-key electric. The Cox versus the Suns.
Last one that we have is Sacramento State versus Eastern Michigan. Classic MAC game.
Sacramento State, that's their first game as a Division I program.
It is.
Wow. Classic MAC game.
just a classic MAC game to open up the season. I mean, how can you not be excited about a classic MAC game to open up the season like that?
And Jake, I don't know who this new TV provider is, but TVTBA has all those games.
Who?
TVTBA.
I don't even know what that is. Oh, TVTBA. Yeah. Yeah. I get your joke there. I get your joke there now.
Have you not? Has it been too long? I mean, this has been. It's usually 7 days before we podcast. It's only been 6. We should be in lockstep right now, Jake.
I've been getting up early, working out. My head's all fuzzy. You know, it's
also shout out Coach Leipold. I saw a guy today in a yellow Jeep with a Kansas Jayhawk tire cover, and then on the back of his Jeep, he had the state of South Carolina outline with a Jayhawk inside of it. I've never seen that. I've never seen anything like that in my entire life. So your Jayhawks has infiltrated South Carolina, and I would like to take full credit for that.
Yeah, I'm sure you're the reason for that.
Yes. So any NIL funding you get from South Carolina, I'd like to have my beak wetted a little bit.
Well, let's get into what we're going to talk about for this episode here. Blue Bloods, always a contested topic on social media. Everybody loves to talk about who the Blue Bloods are, who the Blue Bloods aren't. I mean, there's lots of questions we can talk about before we really get into it, but like, do you think that you can earn your way into Blue Blood status now, or do you think you can lose Blue Blood status?
Absolutely. I think some people treat it like it's some sort of Masonic temple. You got a secret handshake back in the 40s, and those are all the Blue Bloods. Like, I think Blue Blood has to have some sort of blend of history and recency and recent success. And, just spoiler a little bit, when I did the breakdown for statistics to determine who I thought were the Blue Bloods, I kind of went off the modern era of football because I feel like it's 2 totally different games of football. Like everything before that, I don't know, like it is a little blurry. Like you even talk about BYU in the modern era, like they've won. I forget how many conference championships it was. It was 22 conference championships, but all those are considered Group of 5 conference championships. I think they were all with the Mountain West, or they might have been the WAC. Was it Mountain West or the WAC? Yeah,
they might have been part of both, honestly, at one point.
Which nothing against those conferences, but like when you're trying to get Blue Blood status, I don't think that weighs anything. Like because you're beating at the time TCU, Boise State, San Diego State. So, I mean, I don't know.
Well,
So
I'll counterpoint you on that specific one. Obviously, Texas is going to be in a conversation here this evening. Texas, I mean, you got to think about a lot of their conference championships came in the Southwest Conference, and you got to look back at who was in that conference. And they were not playing Oklahoma because Oklahoma was in the Big Eight at that time.
And in fact, Jake, they've only won 12 conference championships since 1972.
So, and you got to think about who was in that conference because, I mean, you had Baylor, Houston, Rice, SMU, Texas, Texas A&M, TCU, Texas Tech. I thought Arkansas was in it for a while then too.
I thought they were too. Are they not listed?
Maybe I'm looking at full members. My bad. Arkansas, Baylor, Houston, Rice, SMU, Texas, Texas A&M, TCU, and Texas Tech. Because it was all the Texas schools plus Arkansas that was in it. And so you look at Oklahoma State. They were in the conference in like the 1910s, 1920s. Like I wouldn't give winning the Southwest Conference a ton of weight. Similar to like the Big Eight. It was Oklahoma and Nebraska. Like that's who it was every year. It was Oklahoma versus Nebraska in football.
Yeah, but Nebraska's been so bad lately. How do you? I don't know how you can look at them as a blue blood. And honestly, I even went back to 1972 with my data. They're not that much better than some of the other programs. I mean, they're in lockstep with Notre Dame, Clemson, and USC and Texas. Which, like, you're going to consider Clemson a blue blood at this point? Don't think so. I don't think you would, but I think people would consider Notre Dame a blue blood. And what have they done recently? The answer is nothing.
Made a national championship 2 years ago.
How'd that work out? It was 3 years ago.
It was 2 years ago.
Are you sure? They played. They played one of the last.
They played in the first 12-team playoff against Ohio State in the national.
You're right. I forgot about that game. I was thinking their last one was the Alabama blowout. I forgot that they played. That team was so bad that played y'all. I have no idea how the heck they ended up in that national championship game.
I would not say that they were a bad team. That Notre Dame team had some elite players on there. I mean, you got to remember they had what was it, Xavier Watts at safety.
Yep.
Am I thinking of it?
Yeah, that's right.
Why am I blanking on the cornerback who is going to get drafted this year?
McMillan.
Brandon something. And Jeremiah Love was on the team. He didn't do a ton. They had an elite offensive line, though. I mean, they have both their tackles got drafted immediately.
Yeah,
they had a very strong offense. I mean, Drake Bowen was on defense there, too.
Who are they throwing the ball to?
Jaden Greathouse.
As a true freshman.
Jaden Greathouse had...
Jalen Greathouse is good. I give you that. And Jalen Faison, or whatever his name is, Rasul Faison. No, not Rasul Faison. Oh,
it was...
What's the lacrosse player?
Yeah, it was Faison. I can't think of Jaden Greathouse, though, had 592 yards that season, and 233 of them came between Penn State and Ohio State in the playoffs.
Yeah, he went off really late.
Earlier in the year, I mean, he had 7 games with one catch. And in the championship and semifinals, he had 13 catches for 233 yards. I mean, just showed up when it was important. But,
yeah.
I mean, if I go back, for instance, don't want to dig too much into this. It was Jordan Faison, Jadarian Price. Yeah. Jadarian Price and Jeremiah Love at quarterback. Mitchell Evans was solid, solid tight end. Xavier Watts, though, fantastic. Leonard Moore is who I was thinking of. He fantastic cornerback there. Like they had talent. Howard Cross, great defensive tackle. Like they had players, but there was a little bit of like, hey, we kind of got it figured out the best way. Good offensive line, good defensive line, one in the trenches. Riley Leonard just not a great quarterback. That's just the best way to put it.
Not to belittle what they did. They played Indiana and their quarterback had a torn ACL and a torn thumb. They played
that Indiana team is also not even close to the same Indiana team from this past year. Like that is
right, and that quarterback was basically just a pulse walking out on the stadium. The second game they played, who was it? They played Georgia.
Gunnar
and
Stockton,
was the
Georgia,
backup
because
quarterback.
Carson Beck was out. But granted, I will say, I mean, they truly dominated that game.
And then they played Penn State, say which one about Penn State?
Penn State blew that game. Penn State absolutely blew that game.
And then they played Ohio State and somehow almost like hung in there with Ohio State the entire game. I mean,
they ran to a buzzsaw early and then clawed their way back in. They It was 28-7, and Marcus Freeman was going for it on fourth down inside his own 30-yard line because he was desperate.
I got us off topic a little bit, but just know I'm not too high. I'm not too high.
What is your criteria for a blue blood? Let's start with that.
My criteria for a blue blood. So I talked about overall wins. Who's got the most wins in college football history? And one of the reasons I made it modern football era is you take about 600 wins away from Michigan, who played high school teams, Army teams that were put together during World War II. Like, so there were some, like, if you want to laugh one day, go look at all the teams that Michigan's beat. It is hilarious.
I'll bet you if we go to like the 1920 Clemson team, I'll bet you they're playing a YMCA.
Right, but that's one of the reasons why you want to take these games away.
Yes, like I've never even heard of some of these schools. But you go back into the early 20s and in the teens, and schools were playing high schools. They were playing, local YMCAs, and these are factored into their all-time wins.
Right. So like that's why I kind of go with the modern football era. You take out a little bit of that. Like you lose a lot of Notre Dame's history with that. So I kind of get like why that could rub people the wrong way. But at the end of the day, that's a totally different football game. It's like Army and Navy dominated up until about the 50s, and then things just changed. I mean, the Ivy Leagues were dominating. Princeton, no, Yale. It's either Princeton or Yale is like one of the best teams of all time.
I'd like to say in 1918, Clemson played Camp Seaver and Camp Hancock. They went 1-1.
Those are Army teams. So those were teams that they put together teams when they were training to go enlist into the Army during World War II. Wrote an article about that. Go read it on Walk on Redshirts.
You got smoked by them, 64-13.
You should have.
But then you also beat one of them 61-0. So I can't believe that you guys. And you're gonna love this. You're gonna love this. And I'm surprised that you don't know about this. Your 1918 team had a legend as the captain.
Yeah, John Heisman.
No, Stumpy Banks.
Oh, Stumpy Banks. Yeah.
So, you don't know about Stumpy Banks?
I don't know about old Stumpy Banks. So let's look. All right, you want to go there? Let's do this. Michigan. They played American Medical, Ann Arbor High School. Let's see. Camp Grant. So another one of those Army schools. Case Institute of Technology. Chicago Harvard Club. Cleveland.
You go back into the 1910s, 1920s. I mean, you've got all of these.
Detroit Industrial Team.
I know that you guys played at the Alabama State Fairgrounds. That's kind of funny. I don't even know what the school is. Oh, that's Howard. It just didn't look like it. If you go
Physicians
back
and Surgeons. Physicians and Surgeons. 2-0. Played them twice.
Yeah. I think that there's definitely a portion that like, hey, congrats, you did well in this era, but you weren't even playing against real teams. Right. I went and looked at this because Hawaii, I wondered until air travel existed who they played, and they were playing basically military bases in Hawaii, and then they would play a bowl game against, whoever was going to come out there in December because they had to take a boat to get there.
So like it hurts a lot of like the old school talks, but honestly, the teams that I have like that I've listed as some of my blue bloods would probably be recognized as the blue bloods anyway. It's like, and if you're a blue blood, I feel like you have to stand the test of time. You can't have an era in which you're bad. Like newsflash, Alabama is my number one blue blood. They've won a national championship in every single era in college football. They've won a college football playoff. They've won a BCS. They've won an AP. They won all the other ones back in the day that, the Scholastic Book Fair championships that they used to put out there, which also I have a take, Jake. We were so worried about the Nazis and communism. Why the heck were we not attacking ties in college football? We didn't get rid of ties in college football until 1995. That is the most un-American, un-football thing I've ever heard of in my entire life. There's no such thing as a tie.
Yeah, the fact that we went that long with ties, not great.
That's too close to soccer. Too close to soccer.
I don't know why we're not attacking Alabama's national championships, claimed national championships a little bit more. The fact that they went 9-2 one year, and finished 20th.
Again, this is why
and got a national title.
Yeah, this is why I don't count 50 years of college football history. I don't think it's legitimate.
I do agree. I think you have to appreciate the pre-1970s, but also when did football become what it is? Like,
and the reason
when you're playing with leather helmets, the leather helmet era to me, I mean, you're talking about, it was not a dream to go play football. Like the NFL wasn't really a thing at that point. And
I don't even care about that. I think like there was in 1972, they finally drew a line in the sand and said, okay, here is the talent gap. Here's a Division 1A. Here's Division 2A. Here we go. These teams should not be playing a bunch of these guys. If you want to be considered D1A, you have to be playing these schools. If not, see you, buddy. Like, and that's the differentiator, because at least with the leather helmets, you all are on the same playing field. You're playing the same game. However, you're playing against, like we said, physicians and surgeons. Those aren't real teams. So, like today, when Ohio State goes out there and plays Youngstown State, it's great for Youngstown State. They get money for it. It's essentially an automatic win. It's a scrimmage.
But it's not quite like playing doctors and whatever.
No,
at least you're playing a real program. But yes, it is when almost certainly, unless you're Michigan playing Appalachian State, when you play an FCS team, 99 out of 100 times it's a win. And usually, on average, it is a pretty large win.
Right. So, like, I just think, like, and back then, like, you had an entire season of playing games like that. So that's why I like to draw the line in the sand at 1972, whatever.
And to clarify, I'm talking about when major programs play an FCS team, because I know when MAC or when Mountain West teams play, a strong FCS team. I mean, North Dakota State, before they jumped up, if they were playing somebody, you knew it was going to be competitive.
They almost beat Colorado. I mean, North Dakota State was really close to beating Colorado when Travis Hunter was there.
They gave him a fight.
Travis Hunter won the Heisman, so pretty
it was a competitive game. But like, if Maine were to go play Oklahoma this year, Oklahoma's going to absolutely destroy them. It doesn't matter how good. I don't know who the next best teams are in FCS. Montana or Montana State go and play USC. I'm sorry, it's not going to be that competitive.
Right. It's a bloodbath. South Dakota State, my Jackrabbits.
Yeah.
Rough day. It's going to be a rough day in the office. So like that's the only reason why I say 1972 and above. I get the nostalgia purposes. I get the history. But you know what? 1972 was also 50 years ago. We have a pretty good sample size of history and what college football is today.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's almost like if you were to put metrics behind this, that if a national title counts as one, like pre-1972, from like 1971 to like 1940, you count it as like 0.75. And then pre-1940, you're counting it as like a half if you were to like give it a number. Because before 1972, there's still like some competitive football. I mean, you had some like good players in the 60s, whatnot. But once you get to like pre-1940s, pre-World War II, like it's almost a completely different sport at that point.
Right. Princeton, for example, in football. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28 national championships claimed.
It's a lot of national championships.
Are they a blue blood? Are they a blue blood? Absolutely not. So that's why I drew a line with saying at 72.
So let's talk about Alabama's obviously an easy one. They're a blue blood. I mean, you talk about going through their history, dozen national titles, possibly more depending on some of the claimed versus unclaimed eras, like almost 1,000 wins, has done it with multiple different coaches. Actually, one of the craziest stats to me is they didn't get a Heisman winner until Mark Ingram.
Yeah, that is insane. And one more thing, Jake, before we move on into talking about who we think blue bloods are. Some of the criteria people like to argue brand, like brand makes you a blue blood. You know what makes a brand? On the field success. So if you have on the field success, you end up having a brand. Clemson was not a big brand 20 years ago. Well, 25 years ago, 30 years ago. In the mid 2000s, it was not a very big brand. I would argue it's a massive brand. Now people can actually identify the Paul. You talk about, I mean,
maybe for another 5 years, and then we'll see if they can identify.
Yeah, maybe that goes away. But like Oregon wasn't the biggest brands, and then Chip Kelly comes in there and like revitalizes what it meant to be an Oregon Duck, and like takes college football by storm with the spread offense and the no huddle, like the tempo offense. It's like
I think the uniforms with Oregon also
right.
So the Phil Knight Nike effect. I mean, when you talk about every week they're bringing out a different flashy uniform. I mean,
but if they're going out there losing by 40, that's not quite like no one cares about the uniforms.
That's the key point, though. If they had gone out there and gone 3-9 every single year with flashy uniforms, nobody would care. But the fact is that you go out there and you start winning 9, 10, 11 games. Now, all of a sudden, it's helping your brand because now people are watching it. And then, they're noticing that you wore a different uniform than you did last week. Hey, they've got chrome helmets on this week. Hey, they're wearing yellow instead of black. Now they're wearing white, and they got wings on the shoulders. Like, it became a thing that because, hey, here's who we're playing. We're going to be good. We're going to have, we've got a Heisman winner, Marcus Mariota. We've got this flashy offense, and we've got flashy uniforms too. It became a brand with Oregon. It's just overall flashy.
Right. And like you talk about some of these other brands that they have like unbreakable. Well, we're going to get there in a second. I'm getting ahead of my skis again.
But I think Alabama, you talk about that. That's almost like unanimous. I can't even imagine an argument where somebody says Alabama's not a blue blood.
Yeah, Alabama must be a blue blood, period. There is no conversation, in my opinion. They are a blue blood.
Like, they've won. Their head coaches, I mean, you've got Bear Bryant and Nick Saban, arguably two of the top, no worse than 5 for Bear Bryant, possibly even higher than that. Nick Saban is number 1, in my opinion. I don't think there's any argument that Nick Saban is not the best coach in college football history.
Yeah, there shouldn't be. There should be. And you want to, if you like 2 top 10 for sure coaches of all time with Bear Bryant and Nick Saban, I would argue probably top 5. I mean, that would be a whole other episode to go over top coaches of all time. But you have that. You have, like you said, almost 1,000 wins between now and so since 1972, Alabama has 9 national championships, which is 4 more than any other program, the second being Miami, because they won a bunch of them in the 80s. They have 20 conference championships. That's in the SEC. So the next highest in the SEC is Georgia at 10, which is unbelievable. It's not even close. You talk about bowl wins, 35 bowl wins since 1972. They've played in 56 bowl games. That means they're winning their bowl games 63% of the time. All Alabama has done in their history is win. And they have one of the most recognizable brands of all time. It's the A. Now, we'll say my wife got it confused with the Braves A. So, nice try, Alabama. The Braves are bigger than you are.
I think one thing about Alabama, too, and, we just talked about jerseys. Alabama, like, their jerseys are iconic. They're simple. It's the simple helmet, the A on the one side, the number on the other. They don't change. They don't even consider another thing because it's their brand. It's what they are. Like they understand that the Crimson Tide, it means something. And I think part of that, Nick Saban helped that. Like, we are the Crimson Tide. We are tradition. We are defense. Like, yes, might change in the next 10 years, but mean, Alabama, the Crimson Tide. I mean, that is the staple. That is the how do you become an Alabama is what every program wants to look like.
And if there's anything that's close to Alabama, our number two, my number two, I would assume your number two as well, is Ohio State.
Yeah.
Again, you talk about a program that all they do is freaking win. And now, I gave them 1972. Big Ten is a joke. Always has been. They used to play the Youngstown State Penguins, the Rutgers Scarlet Knights, the Purdue Boilermakers, like Indiana before they were cool. Like Ohio State, a lot of those victories shouldn't count. No, in all seriousness, 524 wins since 1972. That's the most in that era. 7 more than Alabama. 81% winning percentage. Jake, I don't think people realize Ohio State has won 3% more of their games than Alabama has in that period. That is including the Nick Saban era. 3 national championships, 24 conference championships, 27 bowl wins, 54 bowl games played. So right there, they win half their bowl games. That's that low because they always lose when they play the state of South Carolina. But like you talk about Ryan Day won a national championship, Urban Meyer won a national championship, Jim Tressel won a national championship. Their last 3 coaches have won a national championship. I don't know who the coach was before Jim Tressel, but heck, he probably won one too.
John Cooper did not win a national title. He got ran out of town. One of my favorite fun fact about Ohio State, when you talk about blue bloods history, Ohio State has only ever lost 7 games or more twice in the history of their program.
Yeah,
twice. 2011, the Jim Tressel scandal season, they would go 6-7, make a bowl game, lose to Florida. And 1897. Where they went 1-7-1.
It's like, honestly, if you look at all time, like Ohio State, whether it's all time or modern era, Ohio State is a blue blood. Period.
So I don't want to say that Ohio State's brand can't be damaged, but I mean, they have gone through enough stuff where I don't know if Ohio State can be taken down at this point. You think the last 2 coaches ended in scandals and the next coach came in and possibly even elevated the program.
Yeah.
Jim Tressel, scandal, fired. They bring Urban Meyer in. A little bit lucky, but you get Urban Meyer in, elevates it to another level where all of a sudden, and Jim Tressel was great, but he modernized it. Urban Meyer, scandal, resigns. Ryan Day comes in. Ryan Day has probably done a better job than Urban Meyer, if we're being 100% honest. That he has probably done a better job. And even in the 90s, even in the 80s, even in the 70s, I mean, in the modern era, since you're looking at it, they have a 2-time Heisman winner. So they've had success. They've had Heisman winners. They've played 4 national championships, even if they haven't won national championships as well. They have 3 other national championship appearances since that. And then in the 90s, they had a bunch of good teams that, a slip up here or there. If you had a 4-team or 12-team playoff in the 90s, I mean, they probably are contending or at least winning a couple of games throughout it. And maybe not winning a national championship, but definitely finding success in a playoff.
Yeah, for sure. So, like, the key stat that you said right there is 7 losses only twice in the entire history of that program. So, just that alone makes it a blue blood. You don't have to talk about their Heisman trophies. You don't have to talk about Archie Griffin. You don't have to talk about all the greats, Orlando Pace, Eddie George.
The 90s players might have honestly outdone any of the 2000s. We talk about Orlando Pace and like Terry Glenn, Eddie George. Like you had some absolute dudes on those Ohio State teams in the 90s and 80s.
What's crazy, Jake, is I don't think Ohio State's ever created a stud quarterback. Like I'm like racking my brain. I can't think of
CJ Stroud and Justin Fields are probably your 2 closest studs in college.
Right, but like in terms of like making it to the NFL and being big in the NFL,
CJ Stroud is their closest thing right now.
Yeah, exactly. And like this is crazy that you have these guys like you think about Jim Tressel won the national championship. I think with Troy Smith was it
Craig Krenzel? No, Troy Smith lost it.
Yeah, okay. He lost it to LSU,
Florida.
Terrell Pryor was another big one. I don't think he won it, but he won a Rose Bowl if I remember correctly.
He did. And then he was a 1,000-yard receiver in the NFL.
Yeah, insane. Dwayne Haskins, JT Barrett, Cardell Jones, like all those guys. nothing burgers in the NFL. Rest in peace, Dwayne Haskins. Like nothing burgers in the NFL. And then, but they're winning all these games in college. It's just unbelievable the amount of talent they have in that state. It's not fair. It's bullcrap. They're blue blood. Number 3, I think we might both agree on this one too. Oklahoma.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, you talk about the Barry Switzer era. I mean,
Barry Switzer era. The Bob Stoops era is also unreal. And then Brent Venables is we're yet to see what that becomes. They just made the playoff after a bad year. And that's probably like the first bad year Oklahoma's had in a very, very long time. Big 12 dominance. They've done well in the SEC since they've gone over. But you talk about big time names. You talk about 4 national championships since 1972. You talk about the Boz. You have iconic moments with him, trying to fight the NCAA before it was cool back in the 80s. You talk about Josh Heupel, who's now coaching for Tennessee, was a quarterback there, runner-up in the Heisman Trophy. Jason White, Sam Bradford, Malcolm Kelly with the rap song. You have these.
Malcolm Kelly's elite. I love that rap song, but Malcolm Kelly. Have to watch it every time it comes across the feed.
Yeah, and it's great. It's absolutely great. And the Lincoln Riley era was also pretty darn good. And you have guys like Baker Mayfield come in there, win the Heisman. Kyler Murray come in there. Jalen Hurts come in there. Oklahoma has got to be considered a blue blood. And again, they're one of those programs like Ohio State, like Alabama, who've had sustained success past my metrics of 1972. They were good before 1972 as well. So that's one of those programs that have stood the test of time. And all those teams wear red. I'm starting to wonder if all you have to do is wear red.
And so, like, even before 72, I mean, Bud Wilkinson won 3 national titles. Like, they have multiple national titles by multiple coaches. The Bob Stoops era, obviously, people knew him as Big Game Bob, but obviously, like, he only won 1 national title in his second year. He was there for 18 years, but he won 10 conference championships, which is insane because that's also when Texas made their rise as well. When you talk about, Mac Brown took Texas on the rise there in the 2000s, and Bob Stoops still continued to win the Big 12 in most seasons.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the stretch of Oklahoma and quarterbacks. I mean, the amount of great quarterbacks that have been in college at Oklahoma, Jason White, Sam Bradford, Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield, like there have been so many good. He played quarterback. he played quarterback there. I mean, even guys, Trevor Knight wasn't bad, although Blake Bell was funny because of the Belldozer, and then he moved to tight end.
That was sick.
Gotta love that. But Oklahoma has continued to have success. Lincoln Riley, obviously, they didn't play defense there, but they basically won the Big 12 4 out of the 5 years he was there, and they made the playoff. And while he didn't get the end goal, he kept that success that Bob Stoops had. Brent Venables, I'll be interested to see what happens here because obviously now he's in the SEC. It's definitely going to be a little bit tougher. But Oklahoma doesn't seem like they're fading away.
No. And this is where it gets murky. So if you talk about the 5 blue bloods in college basketball, do we want 5 in college football? I think, you kind of want to mirror that. I think I think Notre Dame has to be one, unfortunately. But what is your take, Jake?
I mean, if you're going to go 5, and spoiler, I mean, Michigan has to be on that list as well. They have the most wins all time.
Yeah,
they've got, they recently won another national title. They've come back up until the Rich Rod era. They were another program that it looked like nobody could take down. That every year they were going to win at least 7 or 8 games. Like a bad season was going to be 7 or 8 wins, but the expectation was 9 or 10. Then they hit a lull with the Brady Hoke and the Rich Rod era. Jim Harbaugh brought him back. Sharon Moore did stuff, but there's a reason why Kyle Whittingham felt like such a home run hire for them because, hey, it's a guy that's going to right the ship for them, a guy that's going to be able to win. And, in most programs, they would have taken Kyle Whittingham over probably their current head coach.
Well, and think about this too, Jake. Like, all Sharon Moore had to do was show up to Michigan and you're going to win ball games. Like,
He
All he had
basically
to do-
that's all he did. Basically, he showed up. They didn't have a quarterback coach for Bryce Underwood, and they still won 7 games.
Yeah, and all you had to do is not break the law and act like a complete psychopath. However, I think you're right. I think Michigan has to be on there. I mean, and they like, I don't know if they'll ever be caught in all-time wins. They're up by 31 right now. That is a lot. And that's to say like that Michigan would have to get really, really bad, and Ohio State and Alabama would have to maintain what they're doing now. And that's a lot of bad seasons in a row, a lot of good seasons in a row. It's like that's a lot of luck and changes and things that have to go certain ways. But 1,000 wins is insane in total program history. So yeah, you're right. Michigan has to be on there. I've learned to hate Michigan. It's not because of you, Jake, but you've helped. If you want to slight them, they're the worst blue blood when it comes to bowl games. They only win 44% of their bowl games. So hey, how about be better in bowl games instead of playing surgeons and physicians? But you're right. They deserve to be in there. That's our number 4.
I think Michigan and I think Notre Dame both have a case for that. I think when you start going down the list a little bit further, but like Michigan, like there was a decently long gap. I mean, 1997, they win the national title. They share it 1 year, like just a little bit too early, or else we could have had a BCS national championship. But I mean, they were a really good program. Fun fact though, Bo Schembechler, I don't believe ever won a national championship. Legendary head coach, but has zero national championships to his credit. I believe that is the fact. Might need fact checked on that one, but I believe that is the fact on that one.
I'll look it up for you.
But Michigan, I mean, I don't want to say they started college football because they didn't. Yeah, actually, Michigan went from 1948 to 1997 without a national title. Fun fact. Then they won that one in 2003, asterisk. But, I mean, you talk about some of the iconic players. I mean, Desmond Howard, Charles Woodson. I mean, even in the 90s, when they only won their one national championship, they still had iconic players. Michigan, you know, the iconic, the winged helmet, you know, the big house. Like, they have so much tradition with college football, with just their winning and their legacy. Like, it's hard not to picture Michigan when you talk about, you know, one of the blue bloods of college football.
Well, and you think about this too, like you talk about brand recognition. All these teams have brand recognition because they win a lot, and all of them have something about them. Like Ohio State, you're always going to have the script of. Like you're always going to have the people are going to recognize that. They're going to recognize the Buckeyes on the helmets and the silver domes. Alabama, you already talked about it, the uniforms, crimson red and white. Very simple. Oklahoma's cream. They're cream. I mean, that is the twist to their
Boomer
color.
Sooner. Yeah, if you say Boomer Sooner,
yeah.
Everybody knows who you're talking
Roll
about.
Tide. You know, if you're in Ohio and you say OH, some dummy's going to say IO right back to you, right? Which I say some dummy but when I'm in Ohio State, I like to do that. It's so much fun. And then in Michigan with the winged helmets, like those are just iconic. You think of Lloyd Carr. You just think of some of the most. You know what the most iconic Michigan game is?
Which one?
The Michigan State game in 2015. He had trouble.
He has trouble with the snap. Yeah.
And then, like, all right, so the fifth one, if you want to be traditional, is it Notre Dame? Is it Penn State? I think it has to be Notre Dame. Like, you think about the Joe Pa era with Penn State, like, just unbelievable. But I think it has to be the last spot has to be between those two.
I mean, I also think that, like, Texas, when you talk about iconic, like, Texas gets a consideration.
Like, all time, they only have 4 national championships, and I think some of those are kind of puny. Since 1972, they've had 1.
Yeah, 2005.
So which was a great game, but like, that's why I've never really felt that Texas was a blue blood. And what's crazy is Texas, you're in the hotbed of football talent, and you have 1 national championship since 1972. That says a lot to me. Like you're in one of the most talented places where football is a religion, and you have 1 national championship since the 70s.
Yeah, and 1970 is a disputed title because they went undefeated in the regular season and then lost to Notre Dame in the Cotton Bowl.
Right. And it's like 12 conference championships. That's it. 72. That's it. 23 bowl wins. That's it. Like, what are we doing? I don't think they're not blue blood to me. They don't.
If
I mean,
you
talk
limit
about
it to
brand,
5, yes. If you limit it to 5, then yes, I understand where you're coming from there. Penn State, the main thing I think about it is outside of Joe Paterno, who obviously was there a long time.
yeah,
Like,
who are they?
what else does Penn State have outside
Nothing.
of Joe Paterno?
Notre Dame has the deepest history in all of college football, in my opinion. There's so much lore with Notre Dame. There's so much aura about their stadium. They aura farm. They have Jesus in their end zone. I don't think anybody else has that. I think Notre Dame has to be the 5th one. I mean, people are going to talk about Nebraska, but Nebraska, what did they do outside of the 80s and 90s?
Yeah, 80s and 90s. I mean, Nebraska, I mean, under Tom Osborne, I think you might even have some 70s in there. But under Tom Osborne, I mean, they were, phenomenal.
Yeah, they were fantastic. Like one of the best teams in college football history. Like, they had some great runs. I get it. But Notre Dame's always been good. Ohio State's always been good. Alabama's always been good. Oklahoma's always been good. They don't have these eras of lulls. Michigan had an era of lull, and they go, what was it, 7-5, and fired their coach, and they were just furious with what was going on there. They had all these scandals running around them, and didn't have a quarterback coach, and they're still winning. What was it, 8 games last year? It's like,
yeah.
If you're a blue blood, you have to be held to a different standard, and Texas can't be in that conversation. And
I do agree. I agree on your Notre Dame aspect, though, because they did hold them to a different standard. I mean, Tyrone Willingham, for instance, came in 2002, won 10 games, immediately fell off, went 5-7. Third year goes 6-5, and they just canned it. So that first year is not holding too much weight. Charlie Weiss, same thing, comes out, goes 10-3, gives them an extension. Next year goes 3-9. Too bad they gave him an extension. Only lasts 2 more years before they cut him. Goes out and get Brian Kelly. Obviously, Brian Kelly starts a little slow, goes to a national championship, but basically wins more than 9 games. In his last 5 seasons, he won 10 games or more. And Brian Kelly, as much as everybody loves to hate on him, Brian Kelly just continued to win 10 games at Notre Dame every single year. He really did. Which was almost like in spite of Brian Kelly, they won 10 games because they had good staff there. I mean, he was smart to have Marcus Freeman on his staff. It's more like in spite of Brian Kelly, they were winning 10 games. I mean, in the singular season, they were in the ACC. Like, they made the ACC championship.
Right. Well, the asterisk on that too. They kind of had to finagle that a little bit to get them in there. That's a whole other story. But and you think about like modern times, like it's before we just say it's Notre Dame, Florida State, 90s, one of the greatest runs. I mean, Florida State has played in 42 bowl games, and the majority of those came from the 80s on up. All these other teams,
basically Bobby Bowden era.
The Bobby Bowden era is where all their bowl games essentially came from. It's like they were nothing until Bobby Bowden, and then Bobby Bowden comes in and they become a powerhouse. Florida, I wouldn't consider them a blue blood at all. They were good in the 90s and the 2000s. And I would
almost give Miami 2000s. A little bit more of credit than Florida, because Miami, their peak, if you basically go watch the U, their peak was unmatched. I mean, they were dominating.
I think it is matched. I think it was matched by Alabama.
Yeah. But I mean, in that era, like they were the program. I mean, they were the standard from whatever it was, like late 70s to 2001. I mean, they had a 25-year era where it was Miami. Like that's who ran college football.
What's crazy about that, Jake? In that era, so you talk about almost 40 years of Miami being that good. They lost 21 bowl games and won 19. They only won 9 conference championships. Now, I know they were independent for a while, but they were in the Big East. They only won 9 Big East titles, 5 national championships, which is huge. That puts them second on this list, and that's just from that 40-year era. But other than that, they were horrible. They went like and from 2010 until Manny Diaz got there, they were horrible. Horrible. We got a coach fired my senior year. We beat him 56-0.
Yeah, I mean, Al Golden was not a great era for the Miami Hurricanes. Randy Shannon was not a great era for the Miami Hurricanes. But when you talk about bowl games, they lost, I believe it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 bowl games from 08 to 2024. Right. They only won one bowl game in that span, and it was the Russell Athletic Bowl under Mark Richt. But, I mean, when you go look back at the Howard Schnellenberger, Jimmy Johnson, Dennis Erickson, Butch Davis, and the first few years of Larry Coker, I mean, they were ranked number 1 in almost every year at some point.
Yeah.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so from 1983 to 2002, so 20 seasons, they were ranked number 1 in 11 of those years at some point during that season.
That's insane.
And they had another year with number 2, 2 years, or no, they had 3 years with number 2, 3 years with number 3. So they were still a really, really good program. I mean, that 20-year stretch, yeah, there were a couple low years in there, but I mean, they were ranked number 1 at some point in 11 different years. I mean, that is Nick Saban-esque right there. The thing is, and they did it with 5 different coaches or 4 different coaches. Yeah. Howard Schnellenberger, Jimmy Johnson, Dennis Erickson, Butch Davis, and Larry Coker, 5 different coaches. They had a team at number 1, which is just an insane run.
Now, I got to say this. Clemson is tied with Georgia, Notre Dame, Florida State, Florida, LSU, and Ohio State in national championships since 1972. What do you have to say about that?
But I think you have to look at that with some context. 1980.
There's 2 eras. There's 2 eras of Clemson football. It's the Danny Ford era and the Dabo Swinney era.
And the Dabo Swinney era, was obviously there was some a very high, and you made 4 national championships and won 2 of them. No, you made 5 national championships and won 2 of them because LSU was 2 back and forth with Alabama and then a loss to LSU. Am I doing that right?
So there was, lost to Alabama, won Alabama, lost to Alabama in a semifinal, lost to LSU. So he made 4, lost 2.
Okay, so one of the games I'm thinking of was a semifinal game, not a national championship. So he made 4 national championships, made the playoff multiple times, really changed the ACC. But I mean, that span was basically the end of the Jameis Winston era, or right after the Jameis Winston era. So you call that 2015 to 2020. I mean, I'll even give you 2024.
2010 to 2020. Yeah, you can say 2024.
But I mean, the peak didn't really hit until after Jameis, because Florida State, Jameis Winston took him to the playoff, won national championship, and took him to the playoff the next year too.
Yep.
So the peak really hit after Jameis left, because that's when Deshaun Watson and Taj Boyd, and that's when they really started to hit their stride.
Taj Boyd and Jameis left at the same time.
Okay. But the peak for Clemson to me was just too short to really consider that.
I agree. I had to include them in there a little bit.
I understand. I mean, they've got 3 national championships. That is obviously fantastic. But I mean, just the longevity. I mean, you go look at the Tommy Bowden era.
It's horrible. It was horrible. I don't want to talk about it. I mean, winning 7 games was huge.
So, I mean, Tommy Bowden every year, I mean, he was 72-45, and he was there for a decade.
Yeah. He was
never won 10 games, won 9 games 3 times, only finished ranked 4 times. That's not good. That is not acceptable for, a blue blood style program to have that and say, that's okay.
Does Nebraska go ahead
and basically say hey, 7-8 wins. Yeah, your job's probably pretty good.
Yeah, that was unacceptable. Does Nebraska have an argument to be the 5th spot? I say no. I don't think the Tom Osborne era outweighs everything else.
So Nebraska has national championships in 70, 71, 94, 95, and 97. They've got a couple other unclaimed ones.
Well, I didn't count all those because they were shared or it wasn't an AP.
I'm
So I
just
think the
curious
AP was
because
recognized as the national championship.
I'm just curious looking at this of what they did those seasons, because one, they're 10-2, 9-3, 12-1, 12-1, 10-2. So I'm sorry, you 3 losses. How are you even getting a national championship? Like, that's
Right.
doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I mean, they won a ton of conference championships. I mean, from 69 to 95, they won a metric ton of conference championships.
Yeah.
Problem is, as soon as they basically got to the 2000s, it just feels like that it just took a total dive.
So think about this: 1981, Clemson beats Nebraska. Nebraska goes 9-3. Clemson's 12-0. Clemson wins the AP, the B, the BR, the CFRA, the DES, the FN, a whole bunch of them. Nebraska's still got to claim national championship from the NCF. Like, that's why I'm like, how do you determine what teams were good back then? You had so many teams so many sources that had a say in this matter. That's why I'm so glad like that everybody bashes the playoffs. I'm so glad it gets determined on a football field. Like for all the skeletons and the warts that the playoff system has, at least it's freaking solved on a freaking football field now. Like I hated the BCS era because they picked 2 teams, say go play, and I'm like, the teams that would get missed, like just jumped out, like just made me sick. And at least they get to play. At least they get to play. Sorry, that's my rant.
No, you're fine. So, I mean, you look at the last 20 years of Nebraska football. Bill Callahan, 27-22. Bo Pelini, 67-27. Fine. I mean, yes, he won 9 games or so a bunch, but like still Nebraska basically said like that's not our standard. And I understand that people always say, well, like you could have a Bo Pelini situation. Okay, but like he wasn't hitting the metrics and goals that they wanted as what they believe the standard was for Nebraska football. Yeah. People can say all the time, well, they should have understood. Okay, well, they were only 10 years removed from a Tom Osborne era, 15 years removed from a Tom Osborne era, where there's still plenty of people near the program that, saw them win national championships in the 90s. Obviously, the Mike Riley era was like the weirdest era for Nebraska football ever. That's a hire that I'm still confused about. 10 years later.
They are too, buddy.
Scott Frost, obviously you thought it was the homecoming of, the son of Nebraska. It didn't work out. Matt Rule, we'll see what happens. But, I mean, these last 4 coaches really just haven't been it. And you have to wonder, does Nebraska really get to it, or do we just hold on to the 70s, 80s, 90s? Because there's only so long you can hold on to that before you don't have that status anymore.
Yeah, and like think about this, Jake. So the Tom Osborne era was around the 80s. These are all the national championships they claimed with Nebraska during that era. 10-2, 1980. 9-3, 1981. These are claimed national championship years. 1982, 12-1. 1983, 12-1. 1984, 10-2. Nothing in 1985, nothing in 86, nothing in 87, 88, 89. 90, 91, 92, 93, claim national championship, 11-1. 94, 13-0. You probably earned that one, buddy. Yeah, you definitely did. Nebraska, 95, 12-0. 97, 13-0. It's like the only real ones, in my opinion, are 94, 95, 97. That's 3 national championships. The other ones,
I would almost be more willing to give USC a nod because there's history and longevity with USC.
Yeah.
When you talk about 5 claimed national championships since 1972, you can talk about ups and downs all you want, but I mean, that's 5 national championships. Now, granted, they were in short spurts.
I think 2 that were legitimate.
72, 74, 78, and then you've got 03, 04.
03 or 04, the only 2 I consider.
I mean, in 72, they went 12-0. 74, they went 10-1-1. 78, they went 12-1. So like,
I mean,
they had legit seasons. It's not like we're giving out the 10-2 championships. The 10-1-1, that's a little iffy. But
you have winners.
Yeah, Marcus Allen, Charles White, O.J. Simpson, Carson Palmer, Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush, Caleb Williams. Like, you have Heisman winners. You have All-Americans. You have history. You have a program. The Rose Bowl where you've won so many times. Like, I believe USC has the most Rose Bowl wins all time.
Well, they probably are. I hope so.
I know they tend to win their conference. They tend to win the Pac-12 or whatever it was, and tend to be there most of the time. But I think USC has a little bit more of a claim to it than Nebraska does.
I agree. It's like, if it comes down to it, Miami, Notre Dame, Florida State, Nebraska, USC. And honestly, I'd take away Florida State. I would take away Nebraska. I would think it'd be between Miami, Notre Dame, and USC.
Georgia's an interesting case, but I think a lot of it's just too recent. You know, Georgia has some pretty deep valleys in their program. I mean, even Kirby Smart, when he started, wasn't out there winning 11, 12 games.
Couldn't win the big one. Couldn't win the big one.
You know, obviously under Kirby Smart, he's elevated the program to a level that they'd never seen before. But, I mean, Mark Richt couldn't get it done plenty of times.
No, yeah.
Had great teams.
Love that about him. Love that about him. I honestly, I think the argument's between Notre Dame and Miami.
I would lean Notre Dame. I would lean Notre Dame because I think you have more longevity, more history. Miami had such a high peak for a short period of time for 20 years. But I mean, then that collapsed. And obviously they made the national championship again this year. It seems like they're trending the right direction, but you just never know.
Big Ten Jake strikes again. Won't let my Clemson Tigers get in.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
I mean, and I'm cool with that. Like, I think those are legitimate blue bloods. And the outside looking in, the ones your UConns, your Michigan States, if you will, or your USC, your Nebraska, your Texas, your Miamis. Like, I think those are the outside looking in.
USC, I think, would be the only one I would really consider looking at because I think USC, you know, that is a big name.
I'll trade you USC for Michigan.
I mean, I would kick Michigan out, but I think Michigan has to stay in. I think there's just too much with them that they've got to stay in.
So Alabama, Ohio State, Oklahoma, Notre Dame, Michigan.
I think that's who I would put as the Blue Bloods.
Yeah. So who's our Kentucky? Who's our North Carolina? Who's our Duke? Who's our Kansas? Who's our UCLA? I think UCLA is Alabama.
Yeah.
You've got the Nick Saban, John Wooden matchup. I think Kansas is your Ohio State. You're just
consistency.
Always fantastic. Yeah, you have like consistent. 2 coaches. Yep. I think Duke is Michigan. Everybody hates Michigan. But they really don't have bad seasons, but everybody hates them. I think, and you tell me if you're wrong. I think North Carolina and Notre Dame. Yeah, I think North Carolina's Notre Dame, and I think Oklahoma's Kentucky. Kind of the bad boys. Oklahoma's kind of the bad boys of the group. John Calipari, you think about him like the one and dones, and then you had like Bo Bosworth, who was not afraid to do stuff. You had Lincoln Riley doing things differently.
I'll give you that. I give you that.
I feel pretty good about this, Jake.
I do too.
The Tigers got spoken about. That's all I care about.
They got referenced. Well, anything else you want to add before we wrap up here?
No, this is fun. I mean, people like who aren't watching right now aren't keeping up. You're obviously not football heads. You need to be a football head. You're not a 5-star. You can earn your 5-star by watching these. Like in the muck of the off season is where you need to be digging deep into your football. Jake and I are talking deep cut football stuff this time of year because we don't have a problem. You have a problem.
What you need to do is go into your conference room. Everybody listening or watching, go into your conference room and put this up on the YouTube. Put this on YouTube and put this on the conference room TV. That way everybody can start getting prepared. I mean, we're only 6 months out. 6 months out from
it's really close. It's really close. I'll leave you with the story. So my cousin, we have a running joke we've had for years. His now fiance was working at Under Armour down in Charleston. and she needed 3 days off, I think, for her wedding. And this was in July. And her manager said, absolutely not. Like, we need you this time period. And she was like, well, can I ask, like, why you need me so badly? And she's like, it's almost Black Friday. Like, Black Friday is almost here. And again, this was July. She couldn't get time off because they were preparing for Black Friday in November. And I say that because you should be thinking about that the same way with college football. It's super close, Jake. We're almost in April. And April starts with an A. And you know when college football kicks off? In an A month, August. So we're essentially there.
We're essentially there. We are essentially there. If you're not doing so already, make sure to go subscribe to us. Go follow us at the Walk On Redshirts on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Make sure to go check out the trivia game. I did not get a new one updated this week, but we'll definitely have a new one updated for next Monday. There's still the March Madness trivia up there right now, so you're welcome to go and play that one. Leaderboard's not updating, but don't worry about it. Next week, we'll have a new trivia back. Go follow Will at Walk On Moose. Trivia's at walkonredshirts.com. Give us a 5-star rating if you like us on Spotify or YouTube or Apple, wherever you get your podcast. Subscribe. Tell your friends about us. We're growing. We're going to have plenty more stuff coming up through the offseason. We got an exciting series we're going to go. We got exciting series we're going to start here next week for April. Should lead us through the next month or so. We only have about 3 more months before we really start digging into the conference previews, and I'm sure we'll have plenty of guests coming on here in the next couple weeks as well.
Can't wait for
plenty of guests. With that being said, we'll see everybody again next week.